5 tips on what not to do on the Appalachian Trail so that you can be respectful to everyone else. My name is Extra. I hiked the Appalachian Trail 20 years ago, and I hiked the Appalachian Trail last year. This is a video to help you take into account other people's experiences on the trail so that you can be respectful and you don't end up being that guy that people are trying to avoid. Tip 1 is if you get to a shelter after dark, use your red light. If you're talking to someone in the shelter, move the headlamp to the side of your head so that when you're looking them in the face, you're not blinding them. That's even with a red light. And then when you're setting up your camp for the night in the shelter or you're cooking, make sure that you're always using the red light, because a white light will fill the entire shelter with light and will blind everyone. And everyone's going to be thinking, I wish he was using his red light, but you just wouldn't know. And especially at the beginning of the trail, maybe not everyone would tell you, but this is something that's expected. This second tip is along the same lines. If it's early in the morning, if there's more than one person in the shelter that's still trying to sleep, or if you get to shelter after dark, I know that you might be really excited from the day of hiking, but speak in a whisper. Speaking in a whisper as opposed to speaking quietly or loudly is a way that you can let everyone else know that you care about their comfort. The next tip number 3, is if you get to a water source and there are other people at that stream, don't fill up your water bottle above stream of them, because your water bottle is going to kick up dirt and it's going to end up in their water. If it's a big stream, doesn't matter. If the water's coming out of the ground above and then falling, it doesn't matter. But if it's a small, shallow stream, either go below stream of them or beside them, but don't fill up your water above stream of them. Tip number 3 is the mice hangs, which are the little tuna fish cans with a string and then a stick underneath, are for food bags, not for backpacks. Often everyone at the shelter is trying to hang their food on these things so that the mice don't get them. Both if you're camping or you're in the shelter, you're going to want to get your food off the ground so that mice don't get your food. And if you put a backpack on the mice hangs, it really can only hold one backpack. And sometimes there are only 3 or 4 of them. And so it's just good etiquette to take your food out of your backpack and hang it on the mouse hangs. This is probably the number 1 tip that I noticed that people weren't doing in the modern era of the Appalachian Trail. The last tip is sort of a little bit of a sensitive one, but it goes without saying for both in society and on trail, but even more extreme on trail. And that is, if you come upon a woman and you start talking to her and she doesn't immediately warm up to you, there isn't good banter, or she isn't meeting you eye to eye, or you say something and it's just sort of quiet on the other end, it probably means that she just wants to be left alone, and just leave her alone. I would imagine, I'm not a woman, but I could imagine being a woman that's 2 days walk in the forest away from everyone, and some guy that you don't know comes upon you and starts hiking with you, and you don't really want to hike with him, but you don't want to be hyper direct about like, go away, I don't like you. And so it becomes this like weird interaction. And on all of my thru hikes, I've talked to women who say this is like one of the more annoying parts of thru hiking. So just try to be more intuitive and more sensitive to if she wants to hike with you. And if she doesn't, just leave her alone, That's about it. That's as simple as it gets for that tip. So those are the 5 tips, and hopefully that's helpful and will make everyone a little bit easier to be around while on trail. I have 2 other videos that I will give a link for. One about your big 3 if you want to be ultralight. On the Appalachian Trail, I was 4.5 pounds base weight, and this is just the most important gear to get you on your way. to being ultralight. And then I also have a video on my very unique diet of mostly eating nuts on the Appalachian Trail. So you can watch either one of those. So thank you for watching.